right? So let's talk about dilation. Dilation is when you multiply the coordinates to make the image larger or smaller. So let's do an example with point A, which is right here. It's at -4, 1, and we're going to do a dilation factor of 3. So if you do a dilation of 3, that literally means multiply these numbers by 3. And that will end us with -12 and 3. The signs don't change when you do a dilation unless you're multiplying by a factor that's negative, which is not common in this year, so we're not going to be doing that. What if you don't want to make something bigger? What if you want to make it smaller? So we'll do that with point B. The dilation factor is 1/2. When you have a fraction, it literally means divide by this number, 2. So we're going to be dividing these by 2, causing B to become -1 and -2. All right, now let's slide this up and let's work on this. So let's say you have 2 similar triangles and you have to solve for the missing side. Now I just made these numbers up, so my answers might be decimal points. I'm going to try very hard for your answers on the question in the quiz not to be decimal points, but it could happen. Okay, so first you look for one side of the triangle that has a length written on both triangles. So you see how the 4 is on this side? Its corresponding side is this one. Okay, luckily I didn't turn it or anything, but it does happen. So the corresponding side for the 4 is the 5. The corresponding side with the x is the 6. And the corresponding side with the y is the 8. So I'm going to write a fraction that goes from left to right using the corresponding sides. So that's 5/4. So I went left, right. So I have to do it again. So now I'm going to use 6x, 6/x, and then 8/y. So first I'm going to do this one here. That's going to be very regular. Having on the third side is just me being extra. So you're going to cross multiply. I'll show you how to do that. So 5 times x is going to make 5x. And that has to equal 6 times 4, which is 24. So how do you solve this one-step equation? 5 is multiplying with x. So we're going to do the opposite, which is divide, leaving us just with x. Now, if you divide one side by 5, you have to divide the other side by 5. This will be 4.8 as our final result. And that's it. X equals 4.8. Now, I'm going to use 5/4 again as our example. So 5/4, but instead of 6/x, because I already solved for that one, I'm going to use 8/y. 8/y. So now we're going to cross multiply. 5 times y is 5y. 8 times 4 is 32. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Y equals 6.4. And you're done. Remember, this cross multiplication has to equal, so I write an equal sign, this multiplication. All right, now let's talk about scatter plots. So this scatter plot, okay, is linear and it is positive. So if you look at the dots have a form that's pretty much straight. The pattern is straight. So this is linear. Does it have an outlier? Yes, it does. And it's positive because it starts, remember you read graphs from left to right, so it starts down here and ends all the way up here. Now this one, this is nonlinear. It has a pattern, but it's not a straight pattern. It kind of goes down and then starts heading to the right. So this is nonlinear. And it's negative. So it's negative means it's starting up here and it's going down. Now remember, all these words have the word association. So this is linear association, meaning we're dealing with scatter plots. This is a positive association. This is a negative association, and it is also nonlinear association. This here is no association at all. Okay? And that is an outlier. Now, looking at these, which one of these two is the stronger, has a stronger association? This one does, because the points are more condensed. These points are far away from each other, so it is not as strong as this one. And I think that's it. Good luck.